Greetings, viewers of the YouTube channel, designation Odds and Ends Gaming. This is Espionage DB7, and this unit is joined tonight by the one who has come to be known as the hostess with the mostest, Valkyrie Grinder.
Hello. And
Warning.
settle down us.
Mostess does not compute as an actual word of the English
Oh, my
lexicon. Moving on. Also joining Espionage is the one known as Nickolas Zombie.
Why don't I have a fucking title?
Yours is
Question
still in the
ignored.
making.
Moving
Everyone
on.
gets the title. I don't.
That's our...
Response. Grant yourself your own damn title.
Who programmed these responses?
Let go of my sock.
And finally, the one whose value is excessively
Unit.
over-quantified.
Unit. I have a
Yes.
question for you.
What is your question?
Tell him to settle
I was
down.
trying to think of a paradox so he would explode, but I can't think of one right now. What
This
dry?
unit,
What
this
wets
unit
itself
is
as
built-
it dries?
This unit is built with paradox-absorbing crumble zones.
Well, what
Crumble
wets itself
zones?
as it dries?
A towel.
It should explode.
Negative. That joke is lame and stupid. An extension of the one
It's
who
like-
told it.
It's like fucking when Cartman put himself in a cardboard box with Robotron.
I am Awesemo.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, there you go. See, he even knows it.
And you have deviated from the intro to the one known as Obsolete 2003.
Yo.
The one whose value is excessively over-quantified and overinflated.
I don't know about that. If anything, it's underquantified and underinflated.
Unit DB7 will proceed with the podcast.
I don't know.
Engage friendly banter. And so, fellow cohorts, how are you?
Is he gonna do the whole fucking show?
Please, no.
I don't know. We'll see.
I can't keep
Get
it up. Can I do this one?
Get down.
I didn't know you said that.
Can I do this one?
Mr. Big.
It's like it's gone too. It's like too high where you can't even understand what he's saying. Hello?
Is it better?
What is he saying?
How about this? Is this better?
I still can't understand what he's saying.
Seriously?
What the fuck is he doing? Is he even talking now?
Yeah, well, not right now, but he was saying, is this better? And then he's like, seriously?
Fucking
How about this? Is this? Can I do it?
I was just fucking from
I hate my own voice. I'm looking for a new one, okay?
the Do you listen to the podcast? Is that why you hate your own voice?
Yes, I do listen to the podcast, don't you?
Your own self-talk? Of course I do, but I love my own voice.
I
Sexy.
hate my voice. I wish I had a better voice.
Let's not do this voice.
How's this?
You know what?
Oh,
Let's just move on.
yes.
Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
Wait a minute, Unit DB7 already did the intro.
Yeah, but it was bad. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
Are you gonna cut me out?
No,
No.
that all stays in.
Yes.
Even the part about the, the previous part?
The dick cutting part? Of course,
No,
now.
I was posted something about that. So that
Now
goes
it's
for
in.
It was, I don't remember. Never mind. Anyway, there's a lady prison, so stop talking about stuff like that.
What a
Wow.
lady. Yeah,
Wow.
sorry. First off, I've heard worse than that, so
From me.
it's really, it doesn't bother me.
Nonetheless, well, yes.
I was gonna try to turn that, but then I could only turn it on OBS, and I was gonna do that, and I was gonna.
Listen
only
here, you
turn it
wanna
on
die?
S. Who put? Is that OBS or is that him?
That was S.
Yeah.
Oh fuck no!
What?
I gotta
What's
play.
going on?
Well, I'm playing a video game on the podcast.
Do you ever? I mean, I know multitasking is a thing, but
Nintendo
like-
Switch.
you never focus on.
I always focus. I'm always keyed into the podcast.
Oh. Oh.
I didn't click on that one. I wasn't trying to
Oh my
click on that
God,
one. I
dude.
wasn't trying to click on that
I'm
one.
not
I was trying to
focused,
click on
bro.
that one. I was trying to
Yeah, I'm
click
not
on
focused. You don't know what you're hitting. Okay.
Okay. So yes, this is already derailed.
Yeah.
And
Well, I don't think it's me.
See, when I remember to use this thing, I go crazy with it and I don't stop.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this is all a recording. That's I'm
I know,
not
I
laughing
you
right
laughing.
now.
No, you're not. I don't know what's happening.
No, sir.
Fuck it, I'm gonna- This is terrible audio having us talk over
it's
and
like
over.
yeah,
each
it's like
other.
overlapping. It's like hold up on the button.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
bad.
sorry, when I
Stop
get
it.
that thing, I start using it and I go a little.
Yeah, you get way too
Uh,
fucking.
we heard that. We heard how excited you got just a moment ago. So yes.
Yeah, we heard that. Oh, stop.
So, but yes. Anyways, moving on
Holy
to get to some type of
Jesus.
topic. Mortal Kombat, new movie. Who saw it?
Dun,
Yes,
dun,
I
dun,
have.
dun, 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 dun,
I
dun,
have.
dun, dun, dun,
Woo.
dun, dun.
Also, before we continue,
Yes.
if you have HBO Max, Godzilla vs. King Kong's only there for a couple more days.
Dun,
So
dun,
if you
dun,
haven't
dun,
seen
dun,
it,
dun, dun,
see
dun.
it. Do
A
it.
new challenger has approached.
Yes.
And going back to Mortal Kombat.
Wait, does Osmo need to introduce Ring or?
Oh, joining us fashionably on time is Ringleader 064.
Hey.
Hey.
Jesus.
How's it going?
It's doing good.
Hell
I've
yeah.
been enjoying the fruits of my labor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing. Now y'all probably don't care for this game since it's probably outside the purview of your attention. But I've been playing Railway Empire.
Damn, outside the purview. Gee, wow.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he doesn't have to.
The point is, I was not wrong. That's the most important part of my statement.
Oh fuck. These
So,
dogs keep
anyways,
killing me.
it's a railway simulator game. I've been looking long and hard for a for a game that was much like Railroad Tycoon, which was an old pop top software game back in the day. It was a very, how can I say this? It had a lot of interest. You can purchase companies and share various businesses that are found throughout the world. Micromanage the hell out of your trains. You know, it was a good ride. But most train simulator games they kind of sucked at that. They arcaded too much to make it too simplistic, and you can't take full advantage of all the financial details that happen in the background. Well, this game apparently does that. So I've been having a very happy time. So that's my little update for y'all.
Nice.
Neat. Now back to Mortal Kombat.
I've heard interesting things. I'm not going to see it anytime soon, so I'm not worried about spoilers or anything like that.
Excellent.
I heard that the Australian that played Kano, was it? Or
Yeah, Kano.
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
carried the film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt
there
in
were
that.
some questions about a Chinook thing going on, or a
What?
Chinook. I don't know. Sub-Zero was prematurely in his black outfit or something like that.
I don't know. But
Um,
before we get into details, everybody, what'd you think? Who saw Mortal Kombat?
I
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Just FYI, put that out there.
Thought we said that.
Oh,
so
did you? Oh, sorry.
I am gonna come at this in a way of I've never actually played the games. I've seen them, I've tried, but like I haven't really up until recently. I was never much of a fighting game, so I don't know too much of the games. Like I've seen it, haven't really played it. I've watched the movies, like the '90s movies. So I'm just gonna come at it from someone who isn't fully invested into Mortal Kombat as y'all probably are. From what I've
Dun, 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 dun.
from what I've seen like of this movie, I'm not entirely like for me like I liked it. I enjoyed the fight scenes. The story could have been better. If I had to choose between the newer Mortal Kombat compared to the 90s Mortal Kombat, I would still prefer the 90s one because I think it had better fight scenes and the storyline. I don't like the fact that Johnny Cage wasn't a part of this one. So they did leave it open for a second movie. I feel totally gypped when it came to Scorpion and fuck, I just lost his name.
Um,
Sub-Zero?
Sub-Zero. Thank you. Their fight scene, because I have seen the animated Scorpion movie, which I totally forgot the name of, and it just pretty much it showed how he became Scorpion and why he was so enraged in that animated movie. I swear to God, I'll find it and I'll give you the name of it. But so I expected Sub-Zero and Scorpion's fight to be really more graphic, better. I was
Yeah.
really disappointed in the fight scene between them. But other than that, like I feel like it could have been better, but I'm not disappointed. I did like it. It could have been a little bit better.
Nick?
I liked it. I don't think it was great, but it was Mortal Kombat. It's dumb and fun.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Jax, I want to say Jax got super lucky with his special power because apparently special power is his arms being back and stronger. But like, if his arms never got ripped off, was that going to be his power, or did he just get super lucky?
Did you guys hear that they are already planning a sequel, and Johnny Cage is planned for the sequel,
Yes.
and fucking The Miz is being looked at for the role of Johnny Cage.
Who?
The Miz, the wrestler
He's
from
a
the
wrestler.
WWE.
Okay.
I think he could pull it off. I honestly do. He has that arrogance. He has that charisma. I think he could do it. I think he'd need to be a little bit more down to earth, but not too. I don't think he'd have to change too much.
Yeah, just
But
kind of
anyway.
keep with his WWE persona.
Exactly. But I just wanted to mention that. So this isn't about the sequel. This is about the actual thing. And my weather alerts are going off because we're
Weather
gonna die.
alert! Weather
Yeah.
alert!
Also, I felt like the actress who
Shut up.
portrayed Sonya could
my
have been
God.
better too.
If I was trying
Like-
to say something, man.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just kidding because you said shut up when you started talking. I was
Oh.
talking to
Not
his
at
phone.
her.
But I know, but it was just I was trying to.
Well, anyway, go on. Proceed with your review.
I feel like the actress who played Sonya, like, I imagined Sonya to be more kick-ass. It wasn't entirely, like I said, it wasn't entirely bad. It's just the actress. I felt like kind of,
A little
I
lacking.
don't know. Yeah, it felt kind of scripted. Like I didn't feel like she was in the role like she should have been. She was just there to act and
Did have a script.
like because you have like some actresses they don't get into, or I don't want to say just actresses, but like
I
some
know
actors
what you
they
mean.
just don't get into the character that they're hired to play. To me, I just felt like it was very scripted. Like I didn't see them actually invest into their character like some actresses do. But hey, again, that's
Yeah.
just me.
Like they show up and like, I have found you. It's the end of the line for you, Scorponok. I mean, the Scorpion.
Open not really.
We need a new Beast Wars series. Just saying.
Yes.
Not that shit that was that fucking was a Beast Planet or whatever the fuck it was, the sequel series that was terrible as hell.
I don't
It
remember.
got convoluted. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. It got real convoluted. They all completely changed their forms, and it was
Their fucking
just weird.
personality, Reinhardt's became like absolute fucking opposite. The new characters were like suspect as hell. Thunderbolt, I think it was Thunderbolt. His name was like total 180 as well. It was just a mess. It was an absolute fucking mess.
No.
I think Optimus Prime gave like the leadership to, or Optimus Primal gave the leadership to somebody else who was a fucking dickhole, and it was weird. I remember watching it because I really liked that show, but it was just dumb.
The original Beast Wars series was amazing. Like it was actually the first
With art.
Transformers series or property that actually had consistent lore. Because before then, we're going on tangent here. I'm sorry. Before then, G1 was an absolute mess when it came to lore. It changed every other episode. There was no consistency whatsoever between the movies. It was all over the fucking place. Then Beast Wars came out under Matrix, which was Rainmaker, which did fucking what was it? Reboot. It was Reboot actually, yeah. The series had consistent lore from the very get-go. They had planned out 2 or 3 seasons in advance. And it was amazing when the alien tech got involved, on Earth. Because they didn't know it was Earth. It was just because it had 2 moons and shit. So it was kind of like, this ain't the same planet. And then the additions were pretty fucking rad. Silverbolt, fucking Rampage, all that. And then you had what was it? Those when they went to the next level, Transmetals, was it? Yeah, I think it was.
Where they got all shiny.
Yeah, Transmetals. Yeah, and they had Transmetals 1 and then Transmetals 2. You saw character development, like for example, Cheetor became more mature as the 3rd season rolled around. He was no longer just like
He became like a straight up soldier.
Right. And then Dinobot was fucking amazing and had one of the most dramatic on-screen animated deaths ever. Like, hands down, Dinobot was fucking amazing.
So I found the name I was referring to the movie.
Mhm.
It's called Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. So if you watch that movie, that's how I imagine that, like how intense that movie. It's a really good movie. It's an animated movie. I recommend watching it. So that's how I envision Scorpion to be after how his family died, full of just anger and rage and pissed offness. Like he wants that revenge. So I expected a better fight scene between Sub-Zero and him, and I felt let down. So, anyways, sorry. Told was gonna find it. I interrupted. I apologize. Please continue.
No,
You are
back on
learning.
track.
You're learning well, my children. Notice that we've gone on multiple tangents, and they have not been mine this time.
This is true.
To be honest, it's been a long time since I've actually had talk like this. So it's been a while for me.
This is true.
Yes.
Before we continue, Ring,
Mm.
what'd you think of fucking Mortal Kombat?
I thought it was entertaining. It was probably, in some respects, yes, it could have been better, but I mean, I took it for what it was. It's Mortal Kombat. It's a movie based off a video game, but it probably some scenes could have been better. The main character, just trying to figure out how they kind of fit him in with having ancient Scorpion's bloodline or whatnot, but it was entertaining for the ride. I wouldn't mind watching it again. I liked how they incorporated some of the gameplay with like some of the fatalities, the fight scene. It would have been cool if they did like the X-ray scene or X-ray vision, but they didn't. But it was entertaining. I enjoyed the fight scenes. They even incorporated the main theme song with a kind of a little update, techno rebate or reboot or whatever. But this pulled.
Why the fuck is that being played right now?
Yeah,
Because he's just playing with soundboard. I mean, it's
Well,
like
no.
5 minutes of the intro of him doing
It's
that.
really annoying. So don't.
it could be a copyright strike. So no more button pushing.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is
Yeah.
a copyright strike. Don't touch that shit.
Yeah, you can't do that. You have to do it old school.
Oh,
Dun, dun. Oh my god.
What the
Not
fuck?
that.
Yeah, he was doing
You
that
missed
too.
that.
So
I
yes.
don't know what you're up to.
But it was good. So, supposedly, I guess like the actor who played Sub-Zero, they're saying that depending on the success of the movie, he's been signed on for 4 more movies, which is interesting because spoiler alert, in the end, supposedly Sub-Zero dies in the movie. So it's like,
Noob Saibot.
so yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Then obviously there's always gonna be prequels, prequel sequels, all origin stories. So maybe that in those, well, I don't know how that'll work. But anyways, I'm assuming there'll be some type of prequel in regards to the Sub-Zero and Scorpion and their struggles with each other or whatever. But I thought Goro died too quickly,
Oh yeah, Goro died way too quickly.
and
Just waiting for was our Shiva. Was it Shiva?
yeah,
Shiva.
so
Noob Saibot. I think that's what Ice Sub-Zero becomes, doesn't it?
Yeah, he becomes Noob Saibot.
Did Scorpion enter his, usual stole form or whatever the fuck it
He
is?
does half a skull when he does his flame breath.
Okay.
not quite the whole thing, but yeah,
So here's my assessment based on what I've heard so far from multiple sources of the movie. Okay, just a rating without actually seeing it. I've heard there was some terrible storyline, as y'all mentioned. It wasn't the greatest. Certain characters carried the film extensively.
Kano.
Yeah, finally the Aussie did some fucking respect. He was great. I was kind of sad they killed Tino up in the original film, but whatever. But
we sad in this film too.
But I will say that Mortal Kombat, from someone who has not seen the movie, so this is a weird rating, is 6 out of 10 because the main theme was not even played throughout the entire film.
I'll play at the end.
yeah, kind of
The
towards
classic
the end.
theme. Yeah. Killed the whole movie for me. I was like, nope. Now I don't want to watch it at all.
There were some Easter eggs to some of like there's one scene where they're showing Sonya and she has like the board with like all the newspaper clippings, the red yarn here and there and everywhere, and they reference kind of some other Mortal Kombat characters that weren't in the movie. Whether or not they'll be in any of the movies, it's whatever, but they're kind of just Easter eggs, so I thought that was pretty cool. But um yeah, I don't know. Goro is just always badass, and he was maybe on screen for less than 5 minutes, and they kind of show him through his shadow, and it's like, oh, well, shit, it's Goro. But then he has to, they send him to kill the main character, and at which point that's the driving force for the main character to channel his inner power to get his special abilities, I guess. And
Who is the main character? Like which one? Like did they
Is it
choose? Like
Kane or is it Jax?
No, it was the friends we made along the way. And by that I mean Cole. No name Scorpion's bloodline guy.
yeah, he wasn't an actual Mortal Kombat from like any of the games whatsoever. It's just
OC character.
yeah, it was
that's kind of a strange decision.
Very strange.
yeah, so I guess in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, Sub-Zero comes, he tries to kill all of
First 10 minutes
Scorpion's.
of the movie might be the best 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. So he tries to kill Scorpion's family, inadvertently does not find a child that was tucked away, and Raiden, which there was this one scene where Raiden comes out, and the way he's carrying himself, I immediately thought of the lightning guy from Big Trouble in Little China. So
No, those guys are badasses.
yes.
Anytime I hear mention of those guys, they're my favorite element of that fucking
So
movie.
there's a few, there's like a particular scene where Raiden comes out in this new Mortal Kombat movie, and I immediately pictured the guy from Big Trouble in Little China. So
The Three Storms.
yeah, but he's able to save this Scorpion's baby, and this many years modern day now, the main character, whatever his name is, he has Scorpion's blood in him, his bloodline. So that's kind of how he was born into the Mortal Kombat. So he just needs he needs to figure out how to channel his inner Mortal Kombat spirit to fight the bad guys with special
Oh, it's
powers.
something.
So yeah.
Can't remember what it's called.
But yeah, I don't know. It was something where they had to try and figure it out, and it was pretty cool.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Thought I muted myself.
But it It was entertaining. Like I said, I wouldn't mind watching it again. Some of the fight scenes are pretty good. I would have to rewatch the old ones. I remember the original Mortal Kombat movie. There was, again, surprise, surprise. Fear Factory being my favorite band. They had a song in the original one. A little disappointed it wasn't in this one. Just kidding, but it was still entertaining. I enjoyed it.
Dude, the original, for however campy it was and however fucking because that movie is total 90s. Everything in the 90s was always like extreme and stuff like that, and it was, you basically, if you look at that movie, you don't see much difference in the choreography of the fights from like a fucking Power Rangers episode. Like the fights are done the way a Power Rangers fight would be, but as campy, as cheesy as it is, it's a fucking guilty pleasure. I love that movie. I don't mind going back. And to be honest with you, I don't even mind the second one that much. Now I don't care for it anywhere near as much as I care for the first one. But if it's on TV or something, I might stop and watch it, because as shitty as it is, it's a fun movie. It has some fun soundtracks. I love the fucking scene where the new Sub-Zero in that movie fights Scorpion. I always found it funny how Scorpion kidnaps Kitana, and then you never see Scorpion again. Like he just disappears. But it had that badass fucking music track, instrumental version of the song "Fire" by a band called Scooter, I think they're called. And I mean, I dig it. I don't think it deserves all the hate that it gets. It deserves some of it, because it's some stupid shit in that movie. Killing Johnny Cage off in the first 5 minutes, and then, "Mother, you're alive. Too bad you will die." I mean,
was that Annihilation?
That was Annihilation. That was the second one.
I heard that movie was so. Like, I remember that movie being so fucking bad compared to the first one.
Yeah, it's bad, but I see it as one of those, like, it's so good, it's so bad, it's good type. To me anyway.
That's usually a sell for me, but for that particular film, it was like, God, I was hoping for some continuation here or something like that, But they killed Johnny Cage off. I don't want to fucking watch the movie anymore. It's like, what the fuck?
Dude, at the animality scenes at the end have fucking worse CGI. Well, I don't even want to say worse, because the Beast Wars CGI was, for its time, was pretty good. But compared to CGI for a kids show, Beast Wars, to the fucking CGI of the animality scenes where Liu Kang turns into like a fucking angel wolf or a winged fucking wolf or whatever the fuck he is. I mean, the CGI is horrible in that, but again, that's what I enjoyed. It's another one of my guilty pleasures.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. But
Yeah.
it's worth checking out if you get a chance. For anyone listening, definitely check it out.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat was fun.
Yes.
So, you guys want to talk more about it, or
No,
do
we're
you want to
done.
give it a rating on Nick's scale?
Oh, what? You keep
No.
saying my scale.
find it
Don't
funny.
use my scale. Like, what the fuck?
Keep us consistent. We're not either. We're using the scale or we're not.
All right, don't
Okay,
use the
I'm
scale.
gonna
You told me
say
not
like
to.
Just
let's
give it
say-
a number.
1 out of 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I would say it's maybe a 7.
Arms.
I'll give about a 5.
Oh, I honestly was gonna go 7 as well. Thought it was pretty good.
5 out of 10. It didn't have the theme of the movie.
It happens at the end. Although no one does scream out Mortal Kombat, so yeah.
Exactly. So it's ruined. That's the white.
They do say fatality. and
I
test
do
the
have to
might.
say, yeah, I forgot his name,
Liu Kang?
the Liu Kang, the bad guy.
No.
Your soul is
Uh,
mine. I love that feature. You actually see like him. Well, okay, you see him sucking out the soul, and you just see the body like get all mummied.
Oh,
I
withered.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love seeing that. I thought that was cool. I did. Sorry.
Yeah. Good movie.
That's, can you give your approximate rating?
Oh no, I'm not gonna rate anything. I haven't seen it. That's not fair for me too.
That's a 9 out of 10 from us.
It wouldn't be fair to me give it any kind of rating, because I haven't seen it. I mean, I've enjoyed listening to this. Like I said, I haven't watched it, not because I know Ring said that he was discouraged from watching it because of what he's heard. I honestly have just I've been busy. I mean, and
to our viewers out there, I know we haven't done a lot of gaming. I've been wanting to. I've just been so tied up. I have started my next recording of Half-Life Alex. I want to get a little bit more on that before I upload it. But I definitely want to get back into it. But the same thing with this movie. I kept putting it off and putting it off, and I just haven't had the chance to watch it. And I think I still will. But now my intrigue has dwindled a bit into this movie, so I may or may not watch it. But it's not it's not fair for me to give it a rating. So Nick and Val said 7. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so and Ob said 5.
Yes.
And Ring, what did you say? 5, or did you
5.
give it a rating?
I don't think you've seen it either.
I haven't seen it, but I'm basing it on a heavy review as well as reading other spoiled material, and I'm saying 5.
So with those, the average rating from odds and ends, the consensus would be a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think it's funny
Sounds
though.
like a. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say. So if we were using some other kind of meter, we might say it's a chub.
Oh,
And I'll leave it at that.
okay. I was gonna say it's just funny because if you look at like the thumb view to watch the movie, it's pretty much identical to the Godzilla versus
Godzilla,
Kong.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It fucking. I noticed that the first day too. I was like, "What the hell?"
It's like the
It just
exact
uses-
same half vertical thing of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and the same exact format
Colors.
with Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They hired the same graphic designer.
Probably.
Probably. It's like fuck. Well, you remember when they did those movie posters where, like, for a few years, almost all the movie posters looked the same. They had that blue and orange. It was a
Yeah.
fucking live action Aladdin, one of the Star
Yeah.
Wars, and something else. They all had like the same exact fucking tone and everything, and it's kind of like, what the hell?
Remember when Disney decided to downsize what's his face? The Black Stormtrooper, what was his name? The actor.
Mm.
Kylo
And they
Ren.
had
Finn?
Finn, the guy who played Finn.
yeah.
No, not. Or was it Finn?
I forgot the actor's name. I'm
Jason
bad with
Bateman?
that.
No, it's not Jason.
That's right.
Bateman.
I know exactly what he's talking about. They're in an international poster. They fucking shrunk him down to like a
In
half
the
an inch or
Chinese
something.
release specifically, it was in the Chinese version.
Dun 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 dun.
And let's know that direction for a little bit, shall we?
Oh god.
Also, Sub-Zero is Chinese.
Mm,
I don't know.
Sub-Zero
Who
always
gives a fuck?
Chinese?
I don't know.
I don't know
Fuck.
either. I don't know.
So
but they made like a point of it.
the
yeah, like the Chinese fighting the Japanese.
Yeah, it was
Because I
odd.
know
So-
they
So
weren't.
Disney
Scorpion was
downsized
Japanese.
the image of Finn on the Force Awakens trailer, and I think one other ones or on the poster, and it just kind of shows how Disney caters to China, or at least the China like
Audience?
the audience, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, what was that about? Like, why did you downsize him so much? Are you trying to make him appear to be an irrelevant character in the greater scheme of things? Or are you just saying that because you don't want to, blow their sensitivity away based on having a black person? Which, by the way, mainland China as a whole, their citizenry can be incredibly racist. But you guys probably knew that.
It's true though.
There's a lot of catering from.
They also call that
Disney.
other guy a Winnie the Pooh. That way we get banned in China.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Are we just going
hilarious,
full on
dude.
ban in China?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I don't know
Sheen
where we're going
Xylophine,
for.
I think his name is.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
He's like really like the so I think with China is they're trying to save face by keep him shielded from any criticism and stuff like that, and it's just dumb how the whole thing with that is being handled. But back to Disney, anyways. Disney does this whole thing where they change up all their promotional material, anything that's on there for the Chinese audience, which is no. and it's kind of dumb because it's like, why do you need to change the material? Like, what's so offensive? You know, is it because like, okay, I'm gonna go a little bit of a tangent here. I'm just gonna go on a rant, okay, about things I kind of been observing with some videos I've been watching and stuff like that. Note: I had nothing against the Chinese people. This is merely a quick analysis of what's going on in the world and stuff like that. So when it comes to China as a whole, or should I say, especially the government, I should say the CCP, there's some very interesting stuff going on there when it comes to things with Disney, video games, especially. Even certain movies, like if you remember the Monster Hunter fiasco that was not too long ago.
Yeah, I don't remember what the hell it was that was said.
It was a Japanese rapper or a South Korean one, and he said something about China. I won't say it because I probably did, scrub by YouTube.
Yes, please be careful.
But something involving a certain, body part, which is not.
We get it. Something was said. Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus, why do you? Rings like I'm not gonna say it. That's what I'll say it.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Moving
on. And of course, there was a massive backlash from the Chinese audience and stuff like that. But it's kind of a trend where a lot of companies are now trying to appeal to the Chinese audience in general because apparently it's so fucking massive. I mean, they got like 3 billion people or something like that. I forgot the exact number. And I think in the long term, I think there's a detriment towards the film industry as a whole, because you're going to see a lot of creative material be not broadcasted or not displayed in the movie because of CCP's guidance and stuff like that. And often you'll see that watered down version of what that movie could have been carry over to the international release. I mean, hell, if it's overseas, like the Europe or something like that, typically they see, most of the time they see the same stuff that we do, right? But I did worry that as a whole, with the movie industry specifically, and I'm going to name this because they've been hit by this too, whether or not creativity will be hindered. For example, there's a special version of Steam available for the Chinese audience. It has like a very limited amount of games. Any material related to Taiwan is immediately censored in every form or fashion. Of course, one China policy. Same thing with movies. You get a lot of movies that are edited and changed a certain way only to appeal to the Chinese audience, but then everybody else suffers as a result. And I'm probably not the only one thinking this here, but I get a sense of like just concern about how everything will appear just because to pertain to a certain audience. Now, I did it with Germany because they have swastikas banned because of their past history and stuff like that. But they usually did around it by changing all the imagery to the Iron Cross instead, because that's legal in Germany. But I don't know. There's an overwhelming concern of creativity across the board, is what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Anyways, red done.
I do is just one of those sensitive topics. I feel not necessarily just in regards to that, but kind of expanding on your point. I feel like there's too much catering going on in Hollywood in general nowadays. Catering to try to tick a certain number of diversity boxes, and I'm not saying that diversity is a bad thing. I am all for diversity. I absolutely love that we now have officially, by what's been declared on like all of the social media pages and all that, a Black Captain America. I think that is fucking awesome, and I think that
Wait, did we talk about Captain America yet? By the way,
I think we talked about it a bit last time, but we can
Yeah,
talk a little bit. Did we finish it?
I
Oh
think
yeah, we did. Yeah,
Yep.
you and
Yeah,
me
we-
did. We said we wanted to sprinkle on it, and then you went full blown.
but anyway, I think Anthony Mackie is great. I would love to see more roles pertaining to the LGBT community, more racial diversity in our shows and movies, but I think that they're going about it the wrong way. It's being forced just because they're trying to cater and tick off those little boxes. On top of that, like you said, catering to China. That's obviously that's something that's financially driven. It's like you said, 3 billion people. That's a huge market, so they're going to do anything that they can to adjust it and make sure that it fits.
1.3 billion. Sorry.
What they want, so that they can take advantage of that audience. But I don't think that the sad thing that's going on in Hollywood is that the movies that are getting pushed, the movies that are getting made, are the ones that are catering, either catering to China, catering to a certain audience by ticking off diversity boxes and whatnot, and real visions, real true people who have not limited their scope, or as you said earlier, their purview.
Oh, by the way,
of-
what? Did you read about that Kotaku article where they criticized Mass Effect for having a cisgendered white female protagonist?
What? What?
I don't know what he just. Any of the words he just said.
What is cisgender again? You have to
Basically, a ordinary straight female.
That's what I thought.
That's
Wasn't this term
disgusting.
hetero? I mean, why?
Yeah, pretty
where
much.
did-
It's a hetero person. It's all it is. Cisgender is just a manufactured term.
But that's not true. You can make your character anything that you want if you
Yeah,
want. You
and
can
that
have-
was the counterpoint because of the 3 games they criticized. It's all games where you can customize your character. Because look, as fucking Shepard, FemShep, I should say, you can fuck Liara.
And I'm
you know,
Samantha Trainer.
right? And you can Samantha. I think isn't she straight though? I forgot.
She's bi. She's bi.
Is she bi?
She'll
There you go.
she'll hit
Fucking
anybody.
Fucking solved. You can make the character black, whatever. Their main criticism was like, oh, she's been portrayed as a person, this person on the promotional
But that's-
artwork. It's like, dude, you gotta stick with the one thing that appeals to the most people, like because it is a numbers game. That's just how it is. And more people positively respond to usually as it is, a white male or a white female because that's the majority of the audience. I mean, that's just how it is. It's just dumb. It was
Well,
fucking
that's
dumb.
exactly what I'm talking about too. There's groups of people out there that are just on the prowl, literally looking for something to be outraged by. So you're never gonna satisfy
And by the
everybody.
way, they criticized the vampire chick from Resident Evil, the
For
tall one.
For being
Yeah.
a giant.
the giant one. They're saying that that's a
She's heightest.
yeah.
She is the product of the toxic male machine that still permeates every facet of our. I don't know, fucking. It's just dumb. I swear, it's just fucking idiotic. I like movies that don't cater to anybody's particular vision except the creators. It's like if a person has a vision that they want to put out there, they might have the most original, the most heartbreaking, the most compelling story that there is. But if you go to somebody and you say, hey, you know what, this is the movie I'd like to produce, you go to somebody in Hollywood, they might take it and then they're going to change it. Okay, so we're going to make your main character into a trans black whatever, and then on top of that we're going to put in a bunch of CGI effects, and it's like, wait, there's no fighting, or there is not supposed to be any CGI in my movie or whatever, and it's just it just gets over it gets ruined. It gets ruined. The last movie I think I saw with what I felt was like general with real artistic integrity was actually the movie Joker. I really like that movie.
I have yet to see that, honestly.
It was a fantastic movie. No bullshit CGI. It told a real, true story. And what did we hear about it? There was a bunch of controversies. Oh, this movie's going to spawn a bunch of serial killers. Oh, this movie's about a privileged white man. He doesn't know what pain and suffering is. I remember reading headlines, and it's like, everybody can know what suffering is. It's. And speaking as a Hispanic male who has been denigrated, who has experienced racism, it's all forced. If you don't force it, if you build it naturally, if you write compelling stories around a character that is a member of the LGBTQ community and is diverse, but that's not their whole personality, that's not their whole character, that just is one facet, one little snippet of who they are, you will have good artistic medium. You will have a good product, but because of the fact that rather than try to take a character, an existing character of the LGBT community, and give him additional traits, they take a character and they make their only trait. Oh, he's LGBTQ, and I hate that. I would love to see more compelling stories in that genre, but they don't. I don't know. You got me going on a rant here.
Yes, I did. But you pretty much you're right, because a lot of, so here's the thing, and you're gonna probably agree with this, is that a lot of weak points nowadays with games. Because look, we're gonna talk about games in general now at this point. We're good.
Well, real quick, when you're done, I have a point about a video game that I want to make as well.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So here's the thing that I've noticed within the past about 5-6 years, and there are exceptions to this, and it kind of plays into the whole thing you just talked about just now. Is there's a lack of definitive writing. This involves, like, say for example, The Last of Us 2, other games like that.
That's exactly what I was gonna bring up.
Yeah, well, here I am. There's a fair point to make, which is right now we're in an age where video games are basically great in terms of display, what you can do with games. We're basically limited to our human input and what we can do. Right now, it's the part where early in game development, storyline mattered a lot. When we're talking about the 90s, SNES, PlayStation, 64 era, where writing mattered because they could not do everything with the game engines, the graphics engines. Everything was limited to polygons and pixels. So you had to make up for it with really good fucking writing. Cedar of Mana, Final Fantasy, Super Mario RPG for that matter. Various shooter games throughout the year, up until the Call of Duty, but we're not into that. They all had a decent sense of writing because the storyline as well as building up the characters mattered a lot more. And I think the trend kind of flipped around the 2010s, where because of how well graphic engines as well as gameplay was advancing, that in some cases the storyline or the whole story in general, when it mattered, didn't really do well at all. And I do see that in certain games. Even the franchises that had notoriously good writing, or should I say companies that had good writing, like BioWare, fell under the radar. Like, say for example, Mass Effect Andromeda as an example, right? Terrible writing, terrible characters. Had the gameplay was solid when the game wasn't a buggy mess, but that's not.
I actually heard from I don't know how true it is. Is it true? Because obviously when they advertise Mass Effect Andromeda and you see the cover art and the posters and stuff, you see somebody wearing an N7 suit with that like glossy helmet. I heard that there actually isn't anybody from that graduated from the N7 program in Andromeda, but rather they find a set of armor and it's basically like stolen valor. Is that true?
I didn't get far enough because my EA pass expired, so I don't know. I never paid for the game. I just could not bring myself to put money towards that.
And I did also watch it. There was a scene that I saw on YouTube where I guess it's the main character. It's a dude. In this case, he's wearing the N7 armor, and there's this other guy that's asking him like, "Wait, where'd you get that?" And it's like, "Oh, I found it. I guess I figured it was good for protection." And he's like, "You shouldn't be wearing that. That is earned. That is earned in blood. I think that's the N7 motto, earned in blood." So he's kind of like telling him that's basically it's stolen valor, and the guy kind of shrugs it off. He's like, "Oh well, we're going into a firefight. This is the best armor I could find, so I'm gonna wear it." And I'm kind of like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I mean, they build up the Spectres the way they build up N7. N7 is basically the Alliance, the humans' version of the Spectres in Mass Effect. The Spectres are like the galactic, enforcers or whatever, but they're both, equally badass high ranks. And it's basically told that to earn that it's
For those
it's
who
an elite.
don't know, the N represents is a designation that designates special forces, and 7 is the highest level of special proficiency you can obtain in the N program. So N7 is the highest level.
Right.
So those who are curious.
Yeah, and it's basically reflected in the game that it is this badass thing, and then this dude in Andromeda, just to fucking, I guess, whip up the nostalgia of like, oh yeah, N7, woo, you got this character who doesn't even earn it. He just fucking finds the armor. Now that is terrible fucking writing. If that's the best they could do. If that is the best they could do as to why somebody,
But that's the example I was trying to make. There have been other games too that were just recently that were just fucking terrible. I'm starting to see a bit of a revitalization in terms of writing. Cyberpunk 2077, as an example, actually did have good writing. Having been the game on one of the possible endings, I can confirm that it takes you for a fucking ride all the way through. The ending is spectacularly done, at least the one I got, which was probably the best possible good guy ending, if you will. Very emotional, very concluding, and then Breath of the Wild is, which I'm going through a playthrough right now. That's an example of where the main storyline is important, but because of the nature of the game, you don't need to focus it on too much. But when you hit those moments, it really hits hard. Now, other games like Mario Odyssey, they're more fun. They're not too worried about the storyline, and that's absolutely fine. Not every game needs a major writing or anything like that. Just needs me to have good gameplay. Excuse me. And I'm also seeing that there's a lot of games out there that have been coming out as well as of late. I'm kind of going different road here. A lot of games that came out recently, like for example, those should I say open world games like 7 Days or Empyrean, Space Engineers, Stardew. Oh no, not Stardew. Where it's interesting because you have these games that are coming out, right? And you can kind of sort of make your own adventure because of the nature of the game. Like you have heavily scripted games, for example, the Final Fantasy series, right? Then you can have also the opposite, where everything is at your own disposal. 7 days, surviving the wilderness, making a storyline for yourself in your head while you play. But I'm hoping that future games will continue the revitalization because, with the failures of the past couple of years of the writing, the lack of gameplay or bug issues and stuff like that, it's harder to say that you're making good games when the trend is that almost a good portion of AAA games have been terrible. Some for storyline, some for other issues. For example, Battlefront 2, it had the loot box fiasco, which really killed the game and didn't recover. Cyberpunk, good writing, but poor execution on the game in general because of lack of testing and stuff. Yada yada yada. You know, we all know the deal. I just hope that this trend continues where we see a bump back. I mean, we saw with several other games that were terrible on release. For example, No Man's Sky and bumped back and just came back better than ever. But then you have other games like Fallout 76 that just kind of didn't.
Yeah.
It's we're in an interesting place right now. We're at the point where either gaming companies figure this shit out or they go under, and they should go under if they don't figure that shit out. You know, I'm not a guy who's a fan of the too big to fall, and if EA fucks enough or these developers fuck up enough, you know, that's on them. Someone else will take their place usually. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
We'll see what, because obviously right now it's obviously a big thing where it's more about money than the story, or it could be the best story ever made or created, but then in the end it's going to be up to the developers or the releasers or whatever to see how much money is it going to be lucrative. Is it going to involve in-game transactions? Is there a way to make it a roadmap where it'll keep them coming and buying, or some type of subscription service to keep not just a one-time purchase? And that seems to be the direction right now, where, to your point, or finished games came out before, back in the original, before internet and downloading and patches, and now it's all about we can now release an incomplete game, and day one there's a 10 gigabyte update because now we can have time to patch and put
Or they
shit.
sell major features as a DLC instead of actually having it as a whole
Yeah,
complete game.
exactly. So that seems to be
Still
what
paradox.
so, but that's the big thing right now. There's still some companies that are releasing story-driven games that are still making good. I know a while back Xbox said, what's the point of making non-multiplayer games? Like single-player games are kind of dead, and PlayStation proved them wrong. More than one.
I think touching on that. What was a real good single player that was released? Cyberpunk and something else. That's right. So one game that I thought was a real good example of a single player game succeeding in a multiplayer, environment is Jedi. Was it the Star Wars? Not Jedi Outcast. What was it?
Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order. It was kind of proof to EA that a single player Star Wars game can sell just as well as a multiplayer game like Battlefront or otherwise. And I remember I've heard about that game, and it was like it is literally, and I know I'm party to some hate for this, but it's like a Dark Souls game with a Star Wars spin on it, which is true. It does have certain identical mechanics and gameplay and stuff like that.
No, S was. You didn't hear him. He was like, "I hate you."
Yeah, it does. It has a lot of similarities. It has little fires along the way. You can save there. The other creatures hit the same way. There's a extremely large amount of similarities, which that's we'll save that for another time. But it's a real good thing because it shows that single player games can survive just fine.
Oh yeah.
That everything does not to be a monetized, multiplayer piece of shit. Speaking of monetized piece of shit, though is not a piece of shit. New game just came out that entered a open beta.
Pokemon Snap.
Enlisted. Any y'all familiar with that?
Hang on, before we jump topics, Val, you've been awfully quiet. Want to weigh in on any topic in particular? Anything you want to add?
Nothing to what y'all are talking about, honestly.
Yeah.
I've been playing Pokemon Snap, and I've been enjoying it, honestly. I just got it today.
Got any cool pictures of Pokemon that we can share on the Facebook?
No, I'm only on
No.
level 2, so I'm at like the way beginning. But I'm liking it. Like if you're looking for a real chill game, it's not like
I started.
Pokemon. it's not like Pokemon Sword or Shield. You're literally in this little device that takes you around the island to snap pictures. So if you just like don't want to do anything besides just like something like mindless, it'd be good. Like it's the perfect relaxing game, I think. Then again, I say that a lot with a lot of other games too, but this one for sure, like it doesn't really require you to have to, as far as I can tell, like have to go out and collect things, or you're just trying to take pictures of certain Pokemon or just all the Pokemon, and you have to get really good, um,
Get good.
get good, yeah, get good photos, and the professor will rate you, and I'm really enjoying it.
That's cool.
I'm downloading it right now.
And I also got a new puppy.
Nice.
Yeah, her name is Octavia, and she learned how to escape her little puppy. I don't want to say cage because it's basically it was like a little play area that like a little gate that I was meant for my kids, but like my daughter she already knows how to climb out of it.
Cage.
So
You
This is
entrapped
so
her.
funny.
well, it's just like it's a safe area. Well, we put
I know
her
exactly what you're talking about because I've
yeah.
seen it, but the way you did it, it's like, yeah, it was a cage we originally bought for my kid, but now we're using it for the dog.
Well, we do. I mean, it's either way, someone's gonna be like, "Why do you put your kids there?" You know, no, really, we have to. It's just because of they're so
Child
little.
Protective
Anyways,
Services would like to know your location. I'm just kidding.
they know my location. Anyways, not saying that I have that on me, but with
You
previous,
just
good God, insert foot here.
The rails.
CPS has
For
not been
real.
a part of my life. I'm a good mom, I promise. Anyways, my dog, she climbed
So
up
am
the
I.
side of it and she gets out. So she's actually about to be 10 weeks. So she's a puppy. And she's a terrier lab mix, and we just found out that her mom's a terrier lab mix, but her dad might be a husky. So she's a sassy little pup. Oh, did I cut
Nice.
out again? Okay, sorry.
Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. Glad you got the new little member there. Sounds like it'll cause mischief and keep you happy.
She's dramatic too. So if you hear in the background whining, it's because I put her up in her little kennel because she was a bad girl. But yeah, she's just a feisty little lovable, cuddable thing. Anyways, so yeah, new game, new pup.
Life is good.
Life is great.
New alias.
Also,
So,
oh, go ahead. Since we're talking about going back in time with like shows and stuff like that, like the 90s Mortal Kombat, I'm also rewatching Waterworld. If you haven't seen that movie, watch it. It's really good. Anyways, continuing. Sorry for interrupting you.
So, enlisted. Yes. This matters for both you Xbox players out there and you PlayStation 5 players out there, as well as PC. So, I played the closed alpha test here and there, and that was way back when. Of course, India's been lifted, so I can talk about whatever now. Enlisted is a squad-based shooter, World War II. Kind of like Call of Duty, but different, way different. Call of Duty is all about doing kill streaks and stuff like that. It's a very different game than what it really could be. Now, you in terms of enlisted, you can play as either Axis or Allies, depending on the map and the time era. Usually, you can play as Germany or Soviets or Americans. What it is that basically it throws on a map. You have to capture objectives, either as specialized infantry, like assaulted. What?
Well, one sec. Apologies. I gotta run, guys. So I will catch y'all later. Carry on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Ring, but I will catch y'all later. I gotta drop out.
All right.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Okay, so
Bye.
bye. So, if you enjoy shooters in general, It's I think it's a very safe option to get into right now. You can spawn as a normal infantry or a sniper group or engineer group or a pilot of a attack craft or a tank. Now, the mechanics for the tank are based heavily on the mechanics that are found in War Thunder because it is by the same uh, distributor, which is Daijin.
Mhm.
It's not uncommon if you do things right that it did up to an excess of 50 kills a match. Because what it is that you spawn with the squad, you are the squad. For example, if you die, you continue as another squad member of that squad. You get the idea?
That's pretty cool.
Each squad member will have individual weapons and loadouts, and you can customize them as you want, as long as you have the equipment available. I would use me personally. I was spawning on a tank. Now, usually you did a very basic tank, so you have to level up to get the better ones. So unfortunately, that was painful for me. There's only also so many tanks per spawn. There's a spawn limit on how many tanks per match.
Mhm.
But I found it to be very fun. The squad system is pretty interesting. The squad AI is kind of dumb. I will say that they just kind of sit there and try to shoot, but half the time they kind of ignore everything around them. But you can command your squad to follow you, attack objectives. You do typically get a med kit, so you can try to pick yourself up, but someone can shoot you and just end your life right there. Whole squads can get wiped out by a single grenade or explosive device or a bomb from the sky.
God damn.
The usual stuff. Right now, currently, it's the no, you can either do the combat on the eastern front or do Omaha Beach. So
Mhm.
either the Soviets or the Allied or the Americans versus the Germans. I do know they're going to add more stuff in the future, the British and probably the Italians as well. Whatever they can add in. I would it is free to play, so y'all can just download it and go.
Oh, nice.
So if that appeals to you, that's definitely an option. Uh, the population of the community is pretty light right now, but they're advertising pretty heavily at this time, so you may see the population grow. And the developers have been very responsive to feedback from the players.
Mhm.
Like just today, they made a change to how you get orders, which is how you get more weapons, more equipment, more soldiers for your squads. Like changed it massively so it's much more simplistic and easy to get.
Oh, that's cool. They're definitely receptive to the feedback and willing to make the changes necessary.
Oh yes, definitely.
That's cool.
And I enjoy that. And that's all I got on the subject.
Cool. And
Anybody else?
I think that'll be a good wrapping up point.
Oh wait, are we done? Obviously, you
it's-
played anything new?
Not yet. Resident Evil 8 does come out soon, so I do plan on starting Resident Evil 3 for the channel, so that way I can try and rush through that, so that way I can get that before getting my hands onto Resident Evil 8. You, Nick?
No, I think I talked about it last time. I got Doom Eternal. I'm playing more of that, and Limbo. I beat Limbo. Now I'm playing Inside, and then also just download Pokemon Snap. So I'm gonna try that
I'm
too.
still waiting for Val to play Little Nightmares 2, but whatever.
I'll get to it. I have so many games right now.
So many games. Too many games.
So
Never
little
too
time.
many. Never too many. Just so many.
Yes.
And I agree. Just a little time.
I know. You ring? Seems I know you're
Nah.
playing that one, and I know you were talking about the train game earlier, so that seems like it really captivated you.
Yeah, it's throwing me back to my high school years, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
That's cool. But I think that's
Alright.
that'll wrap it up there for this episode of Shoot the Shit. We talked about different things. We are on that quest for 200 subs. I know we're kind of little slow in the content right now, but we'll definitely turn that around with do some more live streams, uploads, some group play, all that good stuff. Anyone would like to see us out?
Val.
I'll do it.
Ring.
Ring.
Okay, well, thank y'all for joining us for another. Are we keeping the name Shoot the Shit Saturday?
Shoot the
'Cause
shit
we're
Saturday.
kinda-
We're never gonna change it.
Okay, we did have something that's on
We have
you.
offshoot, but that's us.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, been joined by the one amazing, so passionate ringleader, and over here we have Valkyrie Grinder
Your hostess with the mostest.
and Obsolete 2003.
Yep.
And Nickolas Zombie.
I have no title.
The
Well-
Smooth King.
Smoothie.
And
No, not Smoothie King. Smooth.
And we
Oh.
wish y'all a wonderful night. And then hopefully you enjoyed our programming. If you liked what you saw, hit the like and subscribe. Peace.
200. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.